Hello everyone, welcome back to another video. Today I'm going to be talking about the quality of life changes that got added to the 1.6 update for Stardew Valley. Now these are normally one of my favourite things that come to the updates, is little quality of life changes. It's the little things in life, and these can really enhance your gameplay and make things much more enjoyable and less frustrating. So today we are going to go through every single quality of life change from the first initial 1.6 release to all of the patches and minor updates along the way. So without further ado, let's get straight into the first one, and this is a big one. NPCs now shove chests out of their way instead of destroying them. This is perfect if you are like me and you like to place chests outside of the farm. Before, it was quite a dangerous game because if an NPC crashed their way through it, the chest would destroy with all of the items in them. But now, they just kind of push them out of the way. Like I said, it's the little things. If Pam doesn't turn up to the bus for any reason, she will now leave a little sign informing you that you can drive yourself to the desert. This is huge. So basically you can always go to the desert using the bus now, even if Pam's not there. We may be a child in the game, but we know how to drive a bus. There's been multiple audio changes with this 1.6 update too, and they have made more sounds positional with players, tools and machines. So positional sounds now fade with distance when off the screen instead of cutting off abruptly. This is the same with the brand new waterfalls. As you get closer to the waterfall, the noise is louder, and as you walk away it will fade until no longer hearing it. They've also softened the bomb fuse sound. These were so loud and annoying in the mines. If you used a lot of bombs, especially in the skull cavern, were so loud. But now this has been reduced. It's a little bit softer and nicer to listen to. And also the music now ducks out and then resumes when certain sounds are played instead of just stopping like it used to. I'm a big fan and such a nerd when it comes to audio and sound effects in games. Okay, another one here, you can now strafe while charging a watering can or a hoe, allowing you to reposition your tool without changing the direction. This is awesome. Once you fully charge your watering can, you was locked into that position. You had to just waste the energy, waste the water, but now it gives you a chance to kind of move and readjust so you don't waste the energy or the water. Simple thing again, but very, very handy. You can now refill slingshot ammo by right-clicking it with the same ammo. Previously, it would have just swapped the item stacks. Planting cactus seeds on the farm now fails with a message instead of the seeds dying overnight. Holding a tea sapling or any seed over a garden pot now shows the green/red placement tile. You can no longer pick up rugs if there's something on it. Now this is super handy. I bumped into this problem a lot, especially when decorating the farmhouse, and I was trying to click on, let's say, a chair or a table. It would always get the rug, so this is awesome. If a rug's down and there's something on it, you will never be able to pick up the rug unless there's nothing on it. Simple, I love it. Checking a pet bowl will now show a text bubble with the pet's name. I've noticed this one is so adorable. The fact that we can have multiple pets as well, it kind of identifies whose bowl it is, and it shows you their little name. So cute. They've now added a new post-fishing sparkling text to indicate when you've caught something for the first time. You'd get like a little sound, a little achievement. It's really nice knowing that, oh, I've just caught a fish for the first time, a new one. It gave me a little sense of pride. I love it. Torches can now be placed on sprinklers. This is super handy for designing a layout with sprinklers, but also lighting it up at night time, because before you kind of just had to put them around on the edge or maybe on fence posts. It lights up the area at night time. It looks awesome, and it's really handy with space as well. Another little touch here, but so nice. We can now use the chairs during festivals. You can sit down, relax and take a seat during festivals. You can now move the filled chest by hitting them twice with a heavy tool. Before, you could only do this with your hands. And then the chest will shift one space at a time. Again, very handy for moving chests that are filled with loads of items, much more simpler and faster. You can now place flooring underneath most buildings. This is amazing. Before, let's say you had a path like 4 tiles wide. If you place, let's say, a coupon there, it would destroy some of those tiles. But now it will sit perfectly on top of the floor, so it blends in, it kind of looks nice, it doesn't look odd. I love this, perfect for decorating the farm. It makes it look so much more aesthetically pleasing. Crystallariums now have to be removed and replaced before putting a different gem inside. This will obviously help avoid wasting gems accidentally. Before, you could just put a jade and it will replace that diamond. Even though it was producing the diamond already, this will kind of stop the production of what current gem is in there, so you can start fresh with a new one. Daily billboard quests will now have more informative tracker notifications when you make progress on them. I did notice this was quite a nice touch. It kind of stops you from forgetting about them as well, and it lets you know when you've completed them. And we've got another one here, it's very similar. They've added a small checkmark icon on the special orders which you've completed before. So it will have a little green tick if you've done it before, which is very handy because there's times where I was doing the special orders and I was like, have I done this one before? I don't remember. You can now skip the pet adoption scene in the very beginning of the game when you get your first pet, and when you skip this will cause you to adopt the pet instantly. If you do not want a pet, don't skip the little cutscene because you will get given the pet as default. But this is kind of good for people who've played the game a lot and will always have the pet. Just skip it and you get it instantly. And speaking of pets, they have reduced the amount of time that you need to push against them before they start shaking, and then they'll let you pass through them. It used to be 1.5 seconds, they've halved it to 0.75. So kind of like if a dog is in your way or a cat, you'll be able to get through them very fast and they're not blocking you and slowing you down. They've also reduced the time for the mini obelisk warp totem. They've made it 750 milliseconds faster. There was a little bit of a delay, it took a while to get to where it needed, so now it's going to be kind of instant, probably similar to the return scepter. Male farmers are no longer forced into wedding clothes on their wedding day, so you can now choose your own outfit. If you want to wear a wacky outfit, you can wear that the day before the wedding, and that's what you'll be wearing on the day. Emptying a fish pond with fish that are still in it will cause the fish to flop out of the pond. Poor little fishy wishes. Now there's been a few changes to the slime hutch. You can now change the flooring, which is very awesome. You can also remove the starter incubator in the slime hutch, and slime balls no longer appear on crafted flooring. So if you do want to farm the slimes and get their slime balls, do not use crafted flooring. Now, there has been a ton of improvements to the UI. We have got a hell of a lot, so let's get straight into all of this. They've now added an hourglass cursor which shows when you are waiting for something to load on the screen. Notification messages in the bottom left corner will now last 50% longer before they disappear. The sound in the night events, such as the owl, now show an icon on the screen to indicate that a sound is playing. Dialogue question selectors no longer remain selected when you hover away from them, to reduce accidental selections. Robin's building menu will now show how many days a building will take. Marnie's Animal Shop now centers the camera on an appropriate building when purchasing an animal. This one is huge. Also, Marnie's Animal Shop now shows prices in the tooltip, in case the tooltip covers the price display. The achievement menu will now list all potential achievements. The hidden achievements you haven't unlocked yet are shown as question marks. The museum reward menu now prevents picking up a reward that won't fit in your inventory. Also, the museum reward menu will now let you exit while holding a reward. It will be added back to your inventory if possible, otherwise it will be dropped at your feet. The save creation farm selector now has 2 columns instead of 1, and no longer overlaps the back button on small screens. The shipping menu category pages no longer take up the whole screen, as long as the screen is beyond a minimum size. Inventory tooltips for food that will give you a buff will now show the buff duration in the tooltip. The map now closes when you press the map button. Again, this was always quite frustrating, but I'm glad it's changed. The small things, the small things. Shops will now truncate item names, which would overflow the menu width. And shops now have a slight delay before you can buy or sell items, to help avoid double clicks doing accidentally. And lastly, deleting the save on the PC is now much faster. Now this was a huge problem. I have a lot of farms, a lot of saves for different videos and different series, and when I'm deleting a farm, it kind of would freeze for a couple of seconds, maybe sometimes in 5 or 10 seconds, and now this is much faster. I have already noticed this. It's kind of instant, which is awesome. If a default farm building, like the greenhouse, is somehow removed, it will now be rebuilt the next time you load the save. The menu background is now a drop-down option, which includes standard, graphical, or none. Attempting to put something in a machine but failing will no longer cause you to try and consume or activate the object you're holding. Oh my goodness, this is just the best. This is probably one of my favourites. I'd sometimes get random dialogues like, oh, should I eat this? Like, no, I don't want to eat it. I just want to insert it into the keg. This seems to stop that now. This is so handy, I love it. The Ken intro event and Robin's flute block event are now skippable. Okay, so now we're going to go through some quality of life changes that came to the 1.6.4 patch. So even after the release of the 1.6 update, we've still got some quality of life changes and we're still getting them to this day. So the first one here, there has been a 1.2 second delay added after dropping an item before it's picked back up by the same player. Now this is great. On multiplayer, if you dropped an item because you was trying to give it to one of your friends, but the amount of times it would just go straight back into your character. You'll be doing this for a couple of seconds trying to give this item to your friend, but now the same player won't be able to get that item first. It's gonna go to the other person as priority because there's been a 1.2 second delay, which is plenty of time. Napalm rings are now non-destructive on the farm and inside the slime hutch. For example, the explosion, it will only damage the monsters. It won't destroy any of your flooring or your furniture or anything like that. Your farm will be protected. Receiving a special notification, for example like your first ever geode, this will no longer cancel out your player action such as eating or warping. Flopping fish will no longer fall back into the water or fish ponds. And crab pots now have a short time period after harvesting from them during which they can't be removed. This is super handy as well. When refilling the crab pots with bait, there'll be quite a lot of times where I'm accidentally picking those crab pots back up into my inventory rather than placing the bait in them. And lastly, the Junimo bundle menu will now only highlight items that can actually be placed in the selected bundle. I noticed this on my 1.6 playthrough. It's so much easier and simple because you instantly look straight to the highlighted items. You're like, right, yep, this is what I need. It's so much more efficient. Now, the last three, the final three, are PC only. If you play on PC, you can now shift plus right click an item on the toolbar to throw it out of your inventory, if possible. Now, this is super handy because before you could only like drag. Another PC one here, you can now press the Y or N key to confirm or cancel the Leave Festival confirmation box. Now this is the same as like when you go to sleep at night, you go to bed, rather than clicking yes, you can just press the Y button. It's kind of like yes or no, and it looks like you can do this now to the festivals. The last quality of life change for PC again, if you hold left shift and left control +1 when you buy from a shop, this will now attempt to buy a stack of 999. Again, super handy for me. I'm an end game farmer. I do buy a lot of my resources now, like wood and stone, in bulk. And before, you'd have to, you know, just get a stack of 5 at a time. But now being able to buy a full stack of 999 in one click is super handy. But again, that is for PC only. So that is all of the quality of life changes that really just help enhance your experience in Stardew Valley. And some of those little frustrating, annoying things that have happened in the past, it weren't really game breaking, but now it's just better. And sometimes these little things really do help and they go a long way, and I appreciate Concerned8 for doing these quality life changes because they are the things I personally look forward to the most that can really just change so much to the game. Now if you want to see another video going through some hidden changes that you may have not even noticed but are actually very handy and beneficial, hit that like button and let me know down below if you want to see that, because there's been a lot of changes and fixes to the game and some of these kind of go unnoticed. But thank you all for watching. Please subscribe if you want to see more Stardew Valley content. Turn on notifications as well. I'm currently doing a 1.6 playthrough. If you've yet to see any of those episodes, go to the playlist and watch the first one. I'm sure you're going to love them. They are one of my favourite things I've ever created and I'm having a blast with it. But thank you all for watching, guys. I will see you all in the next one. Stay safe, stay cozy.